Welcome to Watermelon. What makes a real-life superhero? It's not strength or fame, it's the choice to help when it matters. To run towards danger, not away. To stand up for someone you've never met. These moments remind us that heroism isn't about power, it's about heart. In May of 2018, French President Emmanuel Macron invited a young man named Mamadou to the Élysée Palace for a personal meeting.
Vous allez bien? Venez avec moi. Bon, comment ça va?
Mamadou was just a 22-year-old migrant from Mali, working odd jobs on construction sites and sleeping on a mattress on the floor of a shared dorm. At that meeting, the president awarded him a medal for bravery and promised to grant him French citizenship. So what could a young man from Mali possibly do to earn such an honor? On the evening of May 26th, he stepped out to grab some food and watch the Champions League final. At that moment, he noticed a small boy dangling from a balcony on the 4th floor. Without hesitation, Mamadou began climbing up like a real-life Spider-Man. At the same time, a man from a neighboring balcony was also trying to help the boy, but Mamadou was faster. In just 30 seconds, he scaled 4 floors and with one confident move, pulled the boy to safety. The video quickly went viral, and Mamadou was offered a position with the Paris Fire Brigade as a trainee firefighter.
Qui a exprimé le souhait de rejoindre nos rangs. Ce que je te propose, Amadou, c'est de commencer par évoquer cette échelle accrochée.
By the way, according to the BBC, the 4-year-old actually lived 2 floors higher, and while all of this was happening, his father had gone out to the store. Motorists in Atlanta captured a scary scene on a busy highway. Several people trying to smash a pickup truck right in the middle of traffic. They used whatever they could find, including a hammer, a car jack, and even a stroller. At first glance, it looked like a case of road rage, but it wasn't. The pickup driver had passed out at the wheel. The people weren't attacking him, they were rushing to help, trying to break in and save his life. And in the end, their efforts paid off. They managed to pull the man out, stayed with him until the ambulance arrived, and called his wife.
Okay, that's Clerk. Okay, that's Clerk.
In Montreal, Canada, a tanker truck filled with diesel burst into flames after crashing into several other vehicles. The driver, Gilbert, was trapped inside the cab, screaming for help. Another trucker named Carol rushed into the scene. He first tried to pry open the driver's side door with a crowbar, but found Gilbert pinned by the steering wheel. Then he ran down to the passenger side and badly cut his hand while trying to break in. This guy was a hero, but even heroes have bad days. Thick smoke and intensifying flames forced Carol to retreat. It wasn't an easy decision, but it was the right one. Just seconds later, the tanker exploded in a massive blast.
Quelle horreur! Oh mon Dieu!
The media wanted to interview him as a hero, but Carol refused all contact. Later, his boss revealed the trucker expressed feelings of guilt. On a late February evening in 2022, an 18-year-old girl was waiting for her boyfriend in downtown Phoenix. Suddenly, a stranger came up from behind and grabbed her by the neck. Luckily for her, a bystander named Josh witnessed the assault and immediately jumped into action. He tackled the attacker, pinned them down to the ground, and held him there until police arrived. For his heroic actions, Josh was recognized by the Phoenix police. On April 9th, 2021, British YouTuber Sherwin was live streaming a late night walk in London when he heard someone yelling for help.
What's going on? Oh, is he getting attacked? Whoa, leave him alone!
He turned around and saw a cyclist being attacked by a guy trying to steal his bike. Before Sherwin even realized what was happening, he was already running to help the victim.
Leave him alone! Leave him alone! F***
Call the police!
Leave him alone! Leave him alone! Leave him alone!
The assailant backed off, but tried to come back twice. Sherwin stood his ground until others arrived, and the mugger finally fled.
Call the police. Call the police. That guy fucking was punching. They were kicking. He was kicking him. Hey, G! Why are you running? He was running.
The victim later told police the attackers threatened him with a knife. Unfortunately, just like in the movies, real-life heroes often end up suffering because of their actions. Afraid the attacker might track him down and take revenge, Sherwin's mom destroyed his streaming equipment to keep her son away from live streaming. Still, the story had a good ending. With the help of a subscriber, Sherwin set up a GoFundMe page with a goal of £2,000. And in just a few days, people donated over $8,000, helping him rebuild his setup and eventually move out. On August 30th, 2022, an 8-year-old boy was rushed to hospital in Warren, Michigan in critical condition. The night before, severe storms had knocked down trees and brought down a power line, which the boy accidentally touched. Things could have ended much worse if it weren't for two brave police officers, Daniel and David. They found the boy unconscious under a wire, hanging just 4 feet above him. Risking their lives for an electrocuted kid wasn't part of their jobs, but the officers knew that every minute could make the difference. Daniel crawled under the live wire to pull the boy away.
Take him. Keep coming. Watch it, yeah.
Both officers were shocked during the rescue, but they still managed to get the boy out and rush him down to the nearest hospital. He sustained serious burns, but survived thanks to their quick actions. For their heroism, both were later honored with a Valor Award.
Sir David Chapman and Corporal Daniel Rhodes are receiving the prestigious Carnegie Medal of Heroism Award, presented by the Warren Mayor Laurie Stone.
This woman inside the car was approached by 2 men on a motorcycle who demanded that she hand over her phone. But before they could grab the device, another driver noticed the crime and decided to intervene. On April 6, 2021, a massive high-speed chase unfolded on the streets of California. It started in San Diego when a murder suspect took off in a pickup truck, reaching speeds of up to 90 miles per hour. With more than a dozen police cars chasing him, the suspect drove recklessly, swerving onto sidewalks and into oncoming traffic. If the chase continued like that, it was only a matter of time before innocent people got killed. But near the end of the second hour, an Egyptian man named Ahmed realized the suspect was heading toward his area. Ahmed used his big rig to block the suspect's path at an intersection, but the man tried to swerve around him, which ended in a collision. The crash disabled his vehicle, and the guy was finally arrested. The insurance company denied coverage for the damages to his truck, leaving Ahmed temporarily out of work. However, his wife launched a GoFundMe campaign which raised over $80,000 to assist with expenses. A Malaysian tourist was filming a vlog at a waterfall in Sri Lanka when she suddenly heard locals yelling for help. Without a second thought, she jumped into the water and rescued a drowning guy.
Oh, God. Yes, I'm good.
A man named Sabit had moved to Kazakhstan's capital just 2 weeks earlier, but he was already being called a hero. Bystanders recorded the moment when he saved a toddler who was dangling from an open window on the 7th floor. Sabit was walking to work with a friend when he spotted the child in a dangerous situation. They quickly ran to the apartment right below on the 6th floor. Through his neighbor's window, Sabit climbed out to reach the toddler. He had no safety gear. just his friend holding onto his legs. The Ministry of Emergency Situations awarded Sabit with a Medal of Courage and a wristwatch. And both Sabit and his friend were each given an apartment in Astana by a construction company.
И сегодня же за мужество его наградили в Министерстве по чрезвычайным ситуациям.
On August 4th, 2019, Ohio was shaken by the infamous Dayton shooting. A 24-year-old guy opened fire in the Oregon District, a popular nightlife area. When his girlfriend tripped and fell, this young man pushed her down and shielded her with his own body. Fortunately, neither of them were shot. Just 3 weeks earlier, the girl had given birth to his child, and now it's clear she chose the right person. A terrible accident occurred in the Buenos Aires subway, Argentina. A man fainted and as he collapsed, accidentally pushed a woman straight onto the tracks. At least a dozen quick-thinking commuters began frantically waving at the train conductor, and he managed to stop just in time. In Oakland, California, a man was returning to his parked Jaguar when two armed masked suspects approached him and took his keys. However, things didn't go according to plan when two bystanders decided to step in. The Good Samaritans worked at a karate school across the street. A motorcyclist in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina survived thanks to a few quick-thinking strangers. You see a motorcycle slowing down here, but the car behind it doesn't. It crashes right into the bike and ends up on top of it. The passenger is thrown forward, flipping over where the driver gets trapped underneath the car. That's when several witnesses and law enforcement officers rush in, and working together, they manage to lift the car off the rider. Both victims were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Rebecca, a convenience store clerk, was checking out a young mother with her baby when she noticed something wasn't right. The woman's face suddenly glazed over and she began to sway. Trusting her instincts, Rebecca reached across the counter and gently took the baby from her arms. Just seconds before the mother collapsed from a seizure.
In space, her looks. So I thought, I gotta take this baby before something happens. And right there, she falls, and
She handed the baby to a different customer, called 911, and stayed with the woman until help arrived. A Chinese man named Luo leaped from a 26-foot-high riverbank to rescue a kid. The 7-year-old girl fell into a fast-flowing river. The current was strong and she was quickly swept away, floating face down in the water. Swimming through the swift current, he reached the girl, turned her over, and brought her back to the shore. An elderly man was sitting in a Hollywood restaurant when a guy in his 20s suddenly punched him in the face. The attacker stole his wallet and phone and tried to run, but he didn't get far. Timothy, the restaurant owner, chased him down and tackled him to the ground. During the struggle, the assailant punched Timothy and even tried to bite him. But using judo moves, Timothy managed to pin him down and held him there for 10 minutes until the police arrived. During a storm in Sacramento, California, Skip and his wife were walking near their home when they heard a faint meow. They spotted a small kitten struggling in the fast-moving floodwaters.
There's a cat. There's a cat that's drowning. Oh boy.
Without hesitation, Skip waded into the waist-deep water and managed to grab the kitten by the scruff of its neck, pulling it to safety. The couple took the feral kitten home to dry off and recover. Initially, they considered finding it a new home, but after a few days of bonding, they decided to adopt the kitten themselves and named her Stormy.
At B, we're feeding it and we're bringing it out now and then, sitting on our lap.
Within a couple days, the kitten was already purring and snuggling. Signs the future may be much brighter for a kitten they're now calling Stormy.
At Vangani railway station in India, a 6-year-old boy slipped from the platform onto the tracks while walking with his visually impaired mother. A train was speeding toward him, and they were only seconds to act. That's when the railway pointsman, Mayer, heard the mother's screams. He sprinted to the tracks and pulled the boy to safety just moments before the train rushed by. The railway ministry rewarded Mayer with 50,000 rupees, which at the time was around $660. He donated half that money to the boy's family. Mayer was also gifted with a motorbike by Jawa Motorcycles. In Michigan, a woman stopped at a gas station to refuel her car, but made 2 big mistakes. She didn't lock the doors and left the key inside. This guy saw the opportunity and jumped into the driver's seat trying to steal the vehicle. And he might have gotten away with it if a truck driver hadn't stepped in just in time. Two police officers stood helpless outside a burning building in Mesa, Arizona. 2 little girls, 2 and 6 years old, were trapped inside. The officers had thrown rocks at the window, but now they just waited, hoping for a ladder or the fire department to arrive. But then came a hero who didn't need a ladder. A passerby, 25-year-old artist named Jonathan, jumped over a 6-foot fence and ripped out the window frame with his bare hands.
You're still on channel 1. Are you able to switch over to Adam 7?
Then he climbed through the window and pulled both kids out of the smoke-filled house, one after the other. Both children were treated for smoke inhalation and recovered, and for his courageous actions, Jonathan received the Carnegie Medal. In Lafayette, Indiana, a police body cam captured the moment a man walked out of a burning house with a child in his arms.
It's everybody. You're okay.
They weren't related. The guy named Nicholas was just a pizza delivery guy who risked his life to save the kid. And it turns out he had already pulled 4 other children out of that house. And thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more content. And see you in the next one.